Hey Cowboys Nation, let's go for another round of news from America's team. Watch until the end so you don't miss any news and sign up to stay tuned for everything that comes out about the Cowboys. The Dallas Cowboys have a short turnaround before Thanksgiving, and wide receiver Ceedee Lamb just popped up on the injury report. Lamb has been on a tear over the last 5 weeks, but his status is not certain for the November 23rd clash with the Washington Commanders. During the Cowboys' 33-10 win over the Carolina Panthers, Lamb didn't have a clear injury or moment where he was injured. But, as DMN's Michael Gelkin pointed out on November 20th, he is on the report with an ankle issue. Cowboys WR Ceedee Lamb, ankle, and RT Terrence Steele, ankle, would have been limited, Jaron Kearse, back, and RB Rico Dowdle, ankle, wouldn't have participated if team practiced today. Statuses bear monitoring on a short week, leading up to Thanksgiving game versus Commanders, Gelkin posted on X. While the Commanders look very beatable after a loss to the New York Giants, Dallas definitely wants Lamb available. For one, he is, by far, the team's #1 playmaker. Secondly, Washington is 30th in the NFL for pass yards allowed per game. Lamb being limited is better than not practicing, but the short week makes it an issue. In all likelihood, fans won't know if he will play until Wednesday or game day, where Cowboys star may have injured ankle. As mentioned, there was no clear-cut moment that Lamb injured his ankle. However, Blogging the Boys' Brandon Laurie did spot a moment where it may have happened. The play happened with just seconds remaining in the second quarter. This could be the play #Cowboys Ceedee Lamb injured his ankle on. He was slow to get up after the tackle, Laurie wrote on X. Lamb finished the drive off with a touchdown, so that was good to see. Monday was a walkthrough. We'll see how the week progresses for Lamb. Lamb barely avoids a tackle but has an awkward moment keeping his balance, and then he falls down a few steps later as he looks to cut up field. As Laurie mentions, he was slow to get up. The clip also seems to see him testing his weight on the ankle. Lamb came back into the game and scored a touchdown, but the Cowboys kept his usage fairly limited the rest of the game. The Dallas WR caught 6 passes for 36 yards and a touchdown. Ceedee Lamb on pace for record year with the addition of WR Brandon Cooks and the departure of RB Ezekiel Elliott and OC Kellen Moore. Fans were interested in how Lamb's production would shift. It's clear that it has been a major boost to the former Oklahoma Sooner. Lamb has already crossed the 1,000-yard mark, 10-13 at the time of writing, and has 5 touchdowns. The fourth-year receiver has never come close to averaging over 100 receiving yards per game in his NFL career, but he is currently on pace to do so. If he continues at the current trajectory, he will total 125 catches for 1,722 receiving yards and 8 touchdowns. That is all pro material, something that has eluded Lamb since he has arrived in Dallas. It could not come at a better time for the WR. The Cowboys have an option to keep him for another year, but this is essentially a contract season. He isn't just going to get a new deal, he is upping the price with each week this season. Cowboys 24-year-old breakout Darren Bland sounds off on NFL record. Don't look now, but the #1 player on the touchdown list for this year's Cowboys is wide receiver Ceedee Lamb, with 5. Tied for #2 is tight end Jake Ferguson and defensive back Darren Bland. Yes, that is right, Darren Bland is second among Dallas players in touchdowns. Informed of that stat on Sunday, after he scored on his 4th pick 6 of the season, Bland told reporters, "Crazy to think about. Play crazy indeed, especially because, just 11 weeks into the NFL season, Bland finds himself already in the record books, tied for the most pick 6 interceptions in one season in league history." Darren Bland's name is now on a list that includes Eric Allen of the Eagles, 1993, Jim Carney of the Chiefs, 1972, and Ken Houston of the Houston Oilers, 1971. Houston and Allen went to the Pro Bowl in their 4 pick 6 seasons, and Bland, a 24-year-old who was a 5th-round pick out of Fresno State in 2022, is likely to do the same. But first, he is on the hunt for the NFL record of 5 pick 6 interceptions. "It just makes another goal to break it," he said about the record. "I think it was when I touched the end zone, it was like, wow, I just did it. I tied the record, but now, my mindset is, I'm level-headed now and I am trying to go break it." Darren Bland rated number 1 corner in NFL. Bland leads the league in total interceptions with 6, and he currently sits with a Pro Football Focus grade of 91.1 this season, the best in the NFL among cornerbacks. His performance this year has taken the sting out of losing Trevon Diggs to a season-ending knee injury. The record-tying pick came on a fourth-quarter first-down pass from Panthers quarterback Bryce Young, with the Cowboys ahead, 24-10. Bland was guarding receiver Jonathan Mingo. Bland said Mingo was ahead of him, which might explain why Young, who had mostly avoided throwing his way all day, creating a sort of Darren Bland island, took a chance. "I seen him running the under and he kinda had a step on me at first," Bland explained. "I had to catch up, and once I caught up, I turned, I seen the ball and I was like, yes. I was like, I got to go get this one. Because I only had like 3 targets, so I had to make the most of my opportunities." Pick 6 number 4 ranks at the top. Of all the interceptions returned for touchdowns by Bland this year, he said the one against Carolina was the best, mostly because he had to do some serious running to make it happen. Bland made a diving pick at the Cowboys' 30-yard line, and rolled after securing the ball. It took a moment for him to realize he had not been touched when he went down, and that he was holding a live ball. So he did what Darren Bland does best this season. He headed for the end zone. Having to actually run the ball, having to actually make some moves, actually getting up like that, Bland said, explaining why it was the toughest of his pick 6 plays. "You don't usually really get to return like that. And you don't usually get to land in the history books. But now, Darren Bland, Cowboys, will be there. It wasn't really about the record. It's really about being in the history books, being remembered," he said. The Dallas Cowboys could find a potential replacement in a former Philadelphia Eagles cornerback. As suggested by Bleacher Report's NFL staff, the Cowboys should consider signing Houston Texans cornerback Steven Nelson. 2 of Dallas' top 3 cornerbacks, Stephon Gilmore and Jordan Lewis, will be free agents after this season, which means the Cowboys might be forced to look for a new starting cornerback. Dallas has several impending free agents at cornerback, most notably Stephon Gilmore and Jordan Lewis. So they'll be looking to add at least 1 corner this offseason, and Steven Nelson could be a good replacement as he's been putting together an impressive campaign so far. BR's NFL staff argues that Nelson has been a solid corner this season, outperforming both Gilmore and Lewis. According to Pro Football Focus, the Texan allowed just a 79.2 passer rating when targeted and 23 receptions on 361 coverage snaps through Week 10. He's also fared better in PFF's grading system than Gilmore and Lewis have, and the 31-year-old likely wouldn't break the bank on the open market. Steven Nelson has started for a number of playoff teams. The 30-year-old veteran has served as a starter for the majority of his career, starting 108 of his 123 appearances during his 9 seasons in the NFL. The only season he did not start was during his rookie campaign back in 2015. Along the way, Nelson has started for a number of playoff contending teams, including the likes of the Eagles, the Kansas City Chiefs and the Pittsburgh Steelers. Over the course of his career, Nelson's teams have advanced to the playoffs 6 different times. Considering his playoff pedigree, he's played in 8 postseason games, more than Lewis and Trevon Diggs combined. The Cowboys could benefit from signing Nelson. As BR's NFL staff mentions, signing Nelson, who has never garnered an All-Pro or Pro Bowl appearance in his career, would likely be a bargain signing. Nelson's maximum value this season is $6.5 million, according to Aaron Wilson of KPRC-TV. During Nelson's peak, he earned $8.5 million per year with the Steelers after signing with them prior to the 2019 season. According to Spatrack, Nelson's projected market value is $10.2 million per season across 3 years at a total of $30.65 million. That type of salary would make Nelson the 18th highest paid cornerback in the NFL. By comparison, Gilmore's current contract pays him $10 million per year. According to Spotrac, his projected market value is $11.1 million per season. Steven Nelson has outperformed Stephon Gilmore this season. According to Pro Football Focus, Nelson has posted a 76.8 defensive grade and 78.7 grade in coverage. Among all cornerbacks, with at least 100 snaps, Nelson ranks 20th in defensive grade and 18th in coverage grade. By comparison, Gilmore has posted a 69.2 defensive grade and 67.3 grade in coverage while surrounded by a much more talented defensive supporting cast. The Cowboys could upgrade while signing Nelson to a cheaper deal than Gilmore. Furthermore, they would be signing a player that's 2.5 years younger than the 33-year-old Gilmore. Considering cornerback will likely be a huge position to fill in the offseason, Nelson could be the perfect signing for the Cowboys.